The following program is intended for informational purposes only and not as a standalone tool. Please refer to the Flexco website and other Flexco and Mineline literature for more detailed instructions. Prior to any work on your conveyors, make sure that the power has been turned off and that the belt is locked out. Follow other safety precautions as outlined in the operator's manual. And be sure to put on all recommended safety gear before beginning any belt maintenance procedure. As a further safety precaution, be aware that components may be heavy. Be sure to follow safety-approved lifting procedures at all times. When you're ready to begin, gather your tools and the material shipped to you with the MMP Precleaner. Notice that all the nuts and bolts needed for assembly can be found in a plastic bag attached to one of the mounting plates. You will need a tape measure, a 2 or 4 foot level, a marker, a torch welder, a heavy-duty vise clamp, an adjustable wrench, a combination wrench, and a grinder. Keep in mind that for open head installations, you will first need to add mounting support to the structure. Mounting plate and optional mounting bar kits are available from Flexco. Contact your sales representative or call our customer service hotline for more information. The first step in installing the MMP Precleaner is determining the X, Y, and C dimensions. First, use the tape measure to determine the diameter of the pulley, including the belt and lagging. In this example, we measure 7.5 inches and multiply by 2, which is 15. We take 15 and add 4.5 to get 19.5, and we always round up, so we'll go with a diameter of 20 inches. Once you know the pulley diameter, you can determine dimensions X, Y, and C by referring to the chart included in your installation instruction packet. The next step is to mark dimensions X and Y on the chute wall. Begin with dimension X. The easiest way to locate dimension X is to place a level just below the pulley shaft and draw a horizontal line. Now measure the diameter of the pulley shaft. Divide this number by 2. This is the distance you should measure up from the line you just drew. Mark this point. Now we'll work on dimension Y. Starting from the mark you just made, measure down the distance indicated by your installation packet chart. Make a mark at this point. Now use your level to draw a horizontal line through this point. This is where the blade pole will be located. It's important to verify that you've identified the right position for the blade pole. This is where dimension C comes in. Measure the distance from the center of the pulley to the crosshairs you have just drawn. The result should match the distance specified for dimension C in your installation instructions. If it doesn't, go back and check your earlier measurements. For detailed instructions on how to relocate the X and Y coordinates, see our online video library at flexco.com. Once you're ready to move on, you'll want to repeat this entire process on the opposite side of the conveyor. Find the mounting plate template that came in your installation packet. Place the center of the largest hole over the end point of the Y line. Line up your guidelines with the marks on the mounting template. Now, trace the center hole. Trace out the remaining holes. Cut out the holes in the mounting plate. Finish this step by priming or painting the cutouts. Use the template to repeat the measurement, marking, and cutting processes on the other mounting plate. Retrieve the round extender poles and square center pole from your installation kit. From outside the chute wall, insert one of the extender poles through the center hole and into the center pole on the other side. Make sure that holes in the extender pole align with the corresponding holes in the center pole. Do not tighten the locking bolts. Repeat this process on the opposite side of the conveyor. Now you're ready to install the mounting plates. With the bolts provided, attach each of the mounting plates to the chute wall. Now you're ready to center the cleaner blade on the belt and lock it into place. Center the blade by sliding it until it covers the material path. The standard blade coverage is equal to the belt width minus 6 inches. If less coverage is needed, you'll find additional blade holes on the pole. Adjust the extender poles until the ends of the pole extend at least 6 inches beyond the mounting plates on each side. Slide the extender poles until you align the mounting holes. Then insert both bolts. Installation of the blade is complete when you insert the center pole locking bolts and then tighten the jam nuts on the bolts. Now you are ready to install the QMT spring tensioner. You will need to consider the angle at which the blade tensioner will be installed. It can be mounted in any position 360 degrees around the pole. Choose the position that will give you the best access for making future tension adjustments. Start by removing the adjusting nuts and springs from the pivot rod. Find the pivot arm and insert it through this slot in the torque arm. Then slide the torque arm onto the pole. Make sure the rotation of the arm is correct to tension the blade. At this point, rotate the arm until the pivot shaft bracket lines line up with the desired bolt holes. Remove the bolts, nuts, and washers from the mounting plate. Now, reinstall them through the pivot shaft bracket and the mounting plate. Now turn your attention to the spring assembly. Slide the spring, washer, and bushings onto the pivot arm. There are 2 adjusting nuts. Turn them so that about 1/4 inch of the pivot arm is exposed above the nuts. Now you are going to tension the blade to the belt. Start by rotating the blade until it contacts the belt. While you hold the spring bushing flat on the torque arm, rotate the torque arm until the pivot arm is against the slot end that is nearest the pole. Make sure the torque arm is against the mounting plate. Now, tighten the locking bolts and jam nuts on the torque arm. You have only one more step left, and that is setting the blade tension. To determine the appropriate spring length, refer to the chart in your installation instructions. Lightly pull the pivot arm toward the end of the torque arm that is nearest the pole. Turn the adjusting nuts until the spring reaches the length indicated by the chart. To verify that the MMP is working correctly, it's important to switch on the conveyor and test run it for 15 minutes. Make any adjustments necessary to optimize the cleaner's performance. Add tape to protect the threaded rod. For more information on installation of the MMP Precleaner, go to www.flexco.com or contact your authorized Flexco distributor.